If you'd like to make your NFL games a little more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years, bunch of podcasts. People love the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. 30 minutes every day, giving you my takes on what's going on in the NFL, plus Andrew Brandt and Greg Cosell and a bunch of guests as well. Fantasy Feast podcast will record tomorrow to help you set your DFS and season-long lineups. College Draft podcast. Emery Hunt has had a terrific job betting college games, picking college games against the spread. You can hit me up on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. We are at Ross Tucker Pod. Always available on YouTube, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. But the star of this show is Steve Fezzik, the only 2-time winner of the Super Contest at the Westgate Casino out there in Vegas. The only 2-time winner. Plus, Steve, a little birdie told me you're doing quite well in the new Circus Sports Contest as well.
Yeah, currently in the top 40, 39th. Out of 4,000, but 3.5 games out of first, 2 games out of second. First prize is $1 million. Been smoking red hot in that contest. Let's hope it continues.
Ooh, that is awesome. We like smoking red hot, which is what I have not been on this podcast, unfortunately. You know what? This year's been a good lesson so far. I've had a good, whatever it is, since we're doing the show, 5, 6, 7 years. I've only had one down year. I'm having another one, Steve. It is not great. We'll start with the Thanksgiving Day games, which was good for me. The Detroit Lions, they were getting 3.5 at home against the Bears. They lost another close one by 2 points, but I got 2 units there, which was nice. Then how about that Raiders-Cowboys game that I called, Steve? The total was 51. Dak hadn't been playing well. Raiders had scored 12, 13, 16 points. 36-33 in overtime. Went way over. Very surprising. Although I will say the officials throwing 30 flags or whatever it was, including like 10 pass interference penalties, that didn't help our cause, Steve. We lost 2 units there on an under best bet.
Yeah, if I was commissioner, I would give a bonus to the top 10 refs that call the fewest number of flags, coupled with the fact of I penalize them if you miss a blatant penalty. You don't need to call holding. You'll agree with this. You're an O-lineman. You run to the right. You don't need to call holding on the left tackle. It's incidental to the play, right, Ross?
I would say in general, I would tell the guys, the officials, as much as possible, we want to let them play. We want the game to have flow. We want people who only watch football on Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl to enjoy it and not think it's a bunch of stoppages and penalties beyond frustrating. We both lean to the Bills on Thanksgiving night, and that was a good lean. We should have bet it. They were laying 4. They won 31-6. We went head-to-head on the Titans and the Patriots. Titans were getting 6 points. They rushed for over 200 yards. But Deontay Foreman loses the ball on like a 60-yard run. And Tannehill throws picks in the end zone. Patriots win 36-13. Huge swing game for you and I. You're up 2 units. I was down 2 units. And then how about me taking the Pittsburgh Steelers? Getting 4.5, Steve. They lose 41-10. You were right. A couple weeks ago, you said they won't be favored again, and they might not win another game. I think, Steve, you were right.
Well, the good news is, Ross, is that you did lose by 36 points on that game, but everyone who bet on game day lost by 37 points because they were cutting in line to take the Steelers plus 3.5.
Unbelievable. Absolute disaster of a bet that was for me. But we move on. We move on after I tell you that overcoming the odds, rewriting the playbook, delivering under pressure, the MVPs of small business lead their teams to victory all year long. Visa is proud to provide playmakers everywhere with more tools to help grow their business and help them achieve even greater success. Because the more people we can empower, the more we all win. Visa, a network working for everyone. Let's talk about what was working later on Sunday. Panthers, Dolphins. You and I had a best bet on our teaser. We only did one teaser this week, and it worked. Dolphins +8, Colts +8.5, 2 units each. They both came through for us as the Dolphins won outright 33-10. Colts lost by 7 in a game that they were in control of. Jets, Texans. You lean to the Jets, Steve, getting 2.5. What a great lean. They won by a touchdown. Eagles, Giants. Eagles laying 3.5. We both lean that way. They lose 13-7. They lost the turnover battle 4-0, Steve. You're just not going to win when that happens. I mean, and there's no way to predict that that's going to happen. The Hurt's going to throw 3 ridiculous interceptions, and Boston Scott's going to fumble like that.
So I just updated my power ratings. I put them up every Tuesday at Fezzik Sports, my Twitter. And no adjustment, Eagles, no adjustment, Giants. People are like, wait a minute. Giants just upset the Eagles. You need to upgrade them. I'm like, no, I don't. Aberration, like you said, 4 turnovers.
Got it. Let's get to Falcons, Jags. Falcons, you put a unit on the Falcons, Steve. I just leaned to the Falcons. They were laying 1. They won outright. Kudos to you for that. Then we got Bucks, Colts. We talked about that teaser already. Chargers, Broncos. We both leaned to the Chargers laying 3. They lost 28-13. I don't know what to make of the Chargers, Steve. I really don't.
Yeah, the Chargers are looking more and more like a bad team with a really good quarterback. And, Herbert put up big numbers again. But in general, looks like the Chargers are regressing, getting worse as the year progresses. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs anymore. We'll see. 9 or 10 win team, certainly not a Super Bowl contender.
The Vikings, Niners, I put a unit on the Vikings getting 3. They somehow lost by 8. Maddening. Kirk Cousins lines up under the wrong player. You know what I've learned? The thing that's interesting, Steve? Those late game situations, it so often comes down to what the scenario is. Like the Sunday night game, I had 2 units on the Browns, getting 4 points. They're down by 3. The Ravens have the ball. The Ravens are running the clock out. The Ravens need 1 more first down to take a knee. The left guard gets a holding penalty. So then they have to kick a field goal because they can't get the first down. Ravens win by 6. These end of game situations are killing me, Steve. They're killing me.
And even worse, boy, that game sure felt like the Ravens were going to pick up 6 yards every play. The Cleveland D was gassed. The Ravens had no interest in scoring. Without that holding call, Ross, I think it's extremely likely they get that last first down and they just go into the locker room. But you know what? A bunch of people bet the Colts +3. Similar situation. They call that in the Price is Right. I think this is a Gil Alexander trademarked phrase, Plinko. He calls it Plinko, where they have that little metal puck that is descending down, and wherever it falls in, that's the prize you get. So yeah, Tampa by 3, Tampa by 7, Baltimore by 3, Baltimore by 6. You were done in by Plinko.
Hate Plinko. Hate the Vikings for not covering that spread. They were right there. Rams, Packers. I leaned Rams. You took the over, Steve. Good call there. Wow. 47.5 was the total. Even with bad weather, it was 36-28. We discussed Browns, Ravens. Thankfully, Washington came through for me. They were taking on the Seahawks. They were Seattle was laying a point. Was it Seattle laying a point or Washington? I can't remember.
It flipped during the week. Early in the week, Washington was favored. Then Seattle was favored on game day. And then it went back down to Seattle -1 was the closing number.
Got it. Well, at any rate, I won 2 units there. So for the week, I was down 3 units. You were up 3 units. We were 1-1 on our best bets. We got the teaser. We lost the total. Oh, no, we were 1-2, actually, because we both had the Vikings. You had 2 units on the Vikings. I had 1. So we actually were 1-2 on our best bets. For the year, I'm down 13 units. You're up 15 units, 15 wins, 14 losses, 2 pushes for our best bets. Speaking of best bets, Steve, your best bet, everybody's best bet this time of year, make sure your car's battery is where it needs to be. There's no better place to do that than AutoZone. Why? They're America's #1 battery destination. That's why. Why #1? Well, there's a lot of reasons. They carry proven, tough Duralast batteries. They've got an extensive line of replacement batteries. The batteries start at just $79.99. They've even got free battery testing and charging. Sometimes you might think your battery is the issue, but in reality, it's your starter or alternator. AutoZone also has free battery charging. So if you simply need a charge, they can help you out with that too. Listen, the proof is in the pudding. Next time you need a battery help or to get your battery ready for harsh winter weather, start at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone.
AutoZone. Don't get stranded in Altoona, Pennsylvania in the wintertime. Take care of this.
I love it. I love it. All right, Steve, let us begin. Thursday night football. Cowboys won't have their coach, Mike McCarthy. They may or may not have Amari Cooper, who's still exhibiting symptoms. He's unvaccinated. He might miss 3 games. He might miss 3 games during the season, in large part because he's unvaccinated. That would drive me crazy if I were Jerry Jones or Mike McCarthy. They're a different team with Amari Cooper in the lineup. Cowboys laying 4, total 47.5. Talk to me, Steve.
I'm going to lean to New Orleans. It's a good spot for New Orleans. They got smoked at home on Thanksgiving. I expect a bounce back. Short week, like the home team. I know both teams had 7 days, but with the funky Thanksgiving week, I still consider it to be a short week. But pulling back the curtain a little bit, I gave my clients +5.5 on this bet. I think that is a solid 55% bet. But now we're not getting 5.5. We're getting 4, Ross. Now it's more like a 52.5% bet. It's just not good enough. And I know 5 and 4 are not very common numbers, but they can and do hit when we play Plinko in the NFL. So just a lean, Saints.
I would probably lean Saints as well, with Taysom Hill looking like he's going to be the quarterback. That unknown element is one reason why I would pass on this one. The Colts are laying 8.5 against the Houston Texans, Steve. This is one of my 3 teaser legs. I'm going to keep firing. Your advice last week is to keep firing. I'm going to keep firing. My teaser legs this week. Colts down to -2.5 against the Texans. Arizona Cardinals down to -1.5 against the Chicago Bears. And the Washington football team up to +8.5 against the Las Vegas Raiders. So how many teasers is that?
That's 3, Ross.
3 teasers. You always do the math. 3 teasers. Grades, our buddy Grades from Australia, who does an unbelievable job. Like if you guys, you would be so impressed, listeners, viewers, if you became a patron, patreon.com/RT Media, and you looked at Grades printout of our bets, our strike rate, our ROI, all those things. It is magnificent. So anyway, Colts are a teaser leg for me, Steve.
Very good. And by the way, if you ever have like tons of combinations, we're wheeling by 2s and we have 3 teams. So it's just 3 factorial divided by 2 factorial. times 1 factorial gets us to 3 combinations. I'm going to play one of the 3. Arizona, like that. We're going to tease them down, and we're going to tease the Indianapolis Colts down. So I'm going to come aboard for 2 units on one of your teasers. That's a best bet.
The best bet.
You know what I like about best bets this year, Steve? We can see whether or not Bry's paying attention or not. It's like we got to keep him on his toes. Nice. All right. Bucks are laying 11 in Atlanta, Steve.
Pure power rating play. I only make it 9. I think the Bucks got a phony cover. I get a Super Bowl champion that gets a phony cover. I'm going to look to fade that team because the point spread tax gets greater. I'm going to hold my nose. I'm not going to watch the game. I'm not going to watch Matty lukewarm and the interceptions he throws. I'm just going to cash my ticket when Atlanta loses by 10. 2 units, Falcons.
Wow. All right. I'm just a lean to Atlanta. Boy, 11 points is, you know what? I'm going with you, Steve. I'm going with you. That's a lot of points. Atlanta's better when they have Patterson back. Atlanta plus 11, 2 units, best bet.
The best bet.
I love getting 11. I love that number. Cardinals, Bears. Cardinals laying 7.5 on the road. Totals 44.5. As mentioned, Cardinals, one of my teaser legs.
Yeah, Bears didn't win on Thanksgiving. The Lions lost. And I still think the Bears' chemistry is all messed up with their coach, Nagy. And do they really want him to be around? I like this with Arizona. The teaser with the Colts. By the way, a little bonus best bet. DraftKings has season win numbers on each and every team. There's one that I like, a lot of VIG, but it's going to cash. You don't pay the VIG when you win. The Indianapolis Colts over 8.5 wins, Ross. Got a late minus 200. I think this is an 80% bet. Colts are going to go 9-8 or better. So Colts over 8.5 wins is a bonus best bet from me.
Bonus best bet. All right. Chargers at the Bengals. Chargers are catching 3, total 50.5.
You know, I have no idea, but it sure looks like it's going to be a shootout to me. You know, some sharp books are shading this number downward. I don't care. 2 units on the over 50.5. Like the over.
Ooh, like the over. That actually sounds pretty good too. I'm going to put putting 1 unit on the Chargers, getting 3 points. Just 1. I think they'll bounce back from a really disappointing game against the Broncos, and I don't think the Bengals can play nearly as well as they did against the Steelers. Everybody's telling them how great they are. You swept the Steelers. Great job, all that. All right. The Vikings are at the Lions. Vikings are laying 7, Steve. Total 46.5.
All the Vikings do are play close games, so I can't trust them to get separation. I do have a stat, courtesy of my buddy Teddy Covers here in Vegas. The Minnesota Vikings are the only team in the NFL this year that have led each and every game by 7 points or more. This team does not protect the lead. They're below 500 despite being ahead by 7 every game. Can't trust them to cover 7. I'll pass the game.
Wow. That is a crazy stat. I'm going to pass the game as well, but that's an amazing stat. I mean, it's crazy their record is what it is with that being the stat.
I don't even see how it's possible. And I actually said, wait, they never led against the Bengals week 1. Yes, they did. 7-0. Yep.
Wow. That's incredible. I guess that says something about their preparation going into the game. I don't know. It says something about something. That's pretty wild. Okay. The next game up, it is the Eagles on the road laying 6.5 against the Jets, total 45.
All right. So in my youth, this is the type of game I'd always play dog or pass. No longer. Eagles are in a great spot here. They just went to this stadium, outplayed their opponent, and lost because of turnovers. Now they get to return, same stadium, same routine, play an even worse team in the Jets, and the Eagles will be hyper motivated to get the game. They're still in the playoff race. 2 units, laying the 6.5 with the road favorite.
Totally agree. Already had it down on my sheet. The Jets got their win against the Texans. They're happy for like 3 weeks with that. The Eagles, I believe, will bounce back. I think they can run the ball right down the Jets' throat. I'm with you. Laying 6.5 points with the Eagles. 2 units. Best bet.
The best bet.
What about the G-Men in Miami to take on the red-hot Dolphins? I guess I'm a little surprised the Dolphins only favored by 3. Total is a low 41.5.
Yeah, Dolphins playing very well. Giants, well, that new OC resulted in no offense again last week. So that Freddie Kitchens is not going to be a key upgrade. You know, the Dolphins are quietly playing pretty good ball. I'll put a unit on the Dolphins minus the 3.
Okay. I can see that. You're right. I'm going to go in on that as well. In fact, I'm going to put 2 units on it. I'm showing faith in the way the Dolphins are playing. 2 units, Dolphins minus the 3. They're going to win. And I feel like if they don't, I feel like it's a push. 2 units, minus 3, another best bet.
The best bet.
The football team on the road in Las Vegas. They're catching 2.5. The total is 49.5. As discussed, I've got them as a teaser leg up to 8.5.
If you can predict the Las Vegas Raiders, you are a better handicapper than I. This is Dracula, Frankenstein, monster variants week to week. I have no idea. Waller's injured. I could see the Raiders laying an egg after that great Thanksgiving game, and I can see them blowing out Washington. So I will pass.
The Jags are laying or getting 12.5 against the Rams. Total is 47.5, Steve.
So enough is enough. I never lay 12.5 because the favorite is never motivated enough to cover this. But the Rams, 3 straight losses, need the game like blood. The Jacksonville never has a high-scoring game. The most they've scored all year long is 23, and that wasn't even in North America. I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay the 12.5. The Rams are going to get into the 30s. Jacksonville's not going to get past 21. 2 units minus the 12.5.
Wow. I don't know that I've ever seen you do that before, Steve. I can't do it. It would probably just be a lean to me for the LA Rams. That's a first for you, I believe, on this show. 2 units laying 12.5. It's big time. All right. What about the Ravens laying 4.5 at the Steelers? Ravens aren't playing great, Steve. They just kind of figure out a way to win.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson doesn't look right. Obviously, he's been dealing with some undisclosed illness of some sort. 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions from a quarterback that runs the ball half the time. Still cover, though, because the Browns are awful. Steelers, we talked about them. You don't want any part of these Steelers. The rebuild is in full mode. I don't know where Ben's going to be next year, but hopefully not behind center anymore. I don't want either one of these teams. I pass.
I pass as well. I don't even really have a lean. I guess I'd lean Steelers since they were embarrassed. I'd take the 4.5 and lean that way, but I don't know. It doesn't look like they'll have TJ Watt. It's not good. Not good at all. What about the Niners? I'm surprised they're only laying 3.5 against the Seahawks, Steve. That really jumps out to me. And
check your screen. Now, wow. When Ross speaks, people notice. Literally, it is 11:24 a.m. timestamp, but DraftKings just moved from 3 to 3.5 on this game. And it's a classic example. The power ratings say Seattle has value. No Deebo Samuel for San Francisco. But anyone who saw Seattle against Washington, that was bad. Russell Wilson is not Russell Wilson. He just wants to get out of there. There's no way I'm playing Seattle, but my power ratings say there's strong value with them, so I cannot play San Francisco. I pass.
Wow, now it just went back down to 3. While we're talking, while I'm looking at it, it just went right back down to 3. I saw it go up and go back down. This is bananas. How does that happen, Steve? That quickly, up and then down?
Basically, there's a war between two different betting factions or groups. One group likes Seattle, and their buy order says bet Seattle plus 3.5. And another group has a buy order saying bet San Francisco -3. So as soon as DraftKings goes to 3, that's the best number in the world on San Fran, and they're going to get just a avalanche of money laying 3. And when they get like 100,000 or whatever their number is, they'll flop it back to 3.5 and then book all the action on the people that like Seattle. If it lands on 3, DraftKings will be crushed, but it will only land on 3 about 9.5% of the time, so they'll be fine.
Got it. I don't have anything on this game. I would just lean. You know what? If it's 3, I change my mind. San Francisco -3, 2 units. I'll believe Seattle turns it around when I see it. I think worst case scenario there, I probably push. Broncos and the Chiefs. Sunday night football. Broncos are getting 10. The total is 47.
There's a strong move on this under. It started 49. I really like the under at 49. Now, I don't even like it anymore at 47. It's a leap of faith to think that Kansas City is going to cover 10 here, but Andy Reid is so good off the bye. I think historically he's just under 66% against the spread, counting playoffs and all games where his team's had a week off. I don't want to step in front of that, so I'll pass.
I'm taking the Broncos. 10 points is a lot. That's a lot in the NFL. Broncos are a solid football team. I don't think Chiefs are blowing people out. I'll take the 10 points with the Broncos, 2 units. Then we got New England and the Buffalo Bills Monday night. Before we get to that, though, Steve, we talk about picks all the time here on the show. Picks-wise is the #1 free app for football picks, odds, and analysis. Find expert picks for every game all season long, loaded with best bets, props, and parlays. You can find in-depth game predictions, giving you the who, how, and why behind every prediction, all for free. Found your pick? Search our latest DraftKings promotions to sign up for an account and place your bet. Download the free Pickswise app now to make your next bet better. Pickswise backs responsible gambling. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. What do you think about the Patriots and the Bills, with the Bills laying 3, total 43.5?
I think the side's priced correctly. I did give this to my clients under 45. I'll still lean under 43.5. That Patriots defense, the last 4 games, on average, they're giving up under a touchdown a game. I think 6.5 points per game. So given that, I don't see how these teams get to 44. This should be a 20-17 type of game that the Bills should find a way to win. I'm going to lean under.
Yeah, I like the Patriots. They are playing awesome right now. The Bills, not so much. I mean, the Patriots have won 6 games in a row. You're going to give me 3 points against the Bills team that's been up and down? I'm taking them. I think it's a coin flip game. I'll take the 3 points with the Patriots. 2 units. That'll do it for this week's Even Money Podcast. 29 minutes. That's how we roll. Check him out on social at Fezzik Sports and only at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. We're at Ross Tucker Pod. Love those of you that comment on YouTube and love those of you that like to see the bets in black and white. Patreon.com/RT Media. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for listening to the Even Money Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, the Fantasy Feast, Business of Sports, and the College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.
A lot of times on the show, I mentioned DraftKings. Here's what you need to know. You got to be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. By the way, if what I was talking about included a deposit bonus, doesn't always, sometimes it does. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough, and deposit bonuses are paid out in site credit.